Kakegurui, one of the very few shows to tackle gambling as a subject area. Throughout the past decade or so, anime has been more targeted around game-like concepts, dealing with things like Sword Art Online, Btooom, Accel World, Log Horizon, and many more. Very rarely do we ever get a chance to deal with something so taboo, gambling. As the show is called Kakegurui, which is also known as Compulsive Gambler, we are more than aware that this show revolves around a person who is heavily addicted to gambling. This person happens to be Jabami Yumeko, a transfer high school student who has come to a new high school where not only curriculum teaching occurs, but also gambling. Hyakkaou Private Academy is a joint junior high school and high school combined, where the philosophy behind the school is that regular subject teachings are not enough to prepare you for life. Instead, gambling teaches you more, so let's do it. I apologize for interrupting, but I just noticed that you did not hit that like button. If it's not too much to ask, maybe you could consider hitting it and leaving a comment for the YouTube algorithm? I mean, I upload videos like this all the time, and you know, I am close to 1,000 subscribers if you want to help that out. If not, it's more than fine. I appreciate your viewership regardless. Kakegurui is composed of 2 seasons consisting of 12 episodes each, presumed to have a season 3 in the works. It aired between July the 1st of 2017 to March 27th of 2019. Kakegurui is also known to be a drama, mystery, psychological shonen anime that was created by the well-known studio MAPPA. The show is aimed at a more mature audience, being rated R for 17+, and it's probably for a good reason. Also, it does seem that the studio went all out with its voice actors, hiring A-list voice actors from people who have covered big roles in big titles. Way too many names if I want to keep the video short, so here are the names for anybody who cares just as I do. Of course, just like almost every other anime, this show was based off of the manga, which released in 2014. Now, I have always managed to skip past Kakegurui, as I'm kind of already aware of how ecchi this show is, and I've said to myself many times over, I'm sick and tired of this recurring motif that is now planted across every modern anime. I just don't feel comfortable with the idea of a high school student who's technically underage for me, with erotic behavior for a show targeted at older and mature viewers such as myself. I mean, it just doesn't feel right. Nonetheless, considering the situation we're all in right now, I thought screw it, at least I could watch it and maybe see if it is actually good. So something caved in inside and said, you have nothing better to do. So I threw away all my beliefs and pursued watching this show till the very end. And whilst doing this, I found myself skipping ahead every single few minutes due to the mass amount of fan service placed in every single episode. Now, if you're able to get past this trivial aspect of the anime, one of the most amazing things about this show is that the form of gambling is far from unique. It's so indifferent from any version of gambling you've probably ever seen. The ingenuity and craftsmanship of every single episode where we tackle a new form of gambling really caught me by surprise, and it definitely piqued my interest enough to keep me going. Though this wasn't the only strong suit of the show, it was for sure the animation quality itself too, which normally I never watch an anime just for its quality of animation, but this one really caught me by surprise due to all the cover arts I've seen. Amazing cinematography capturing the tension in the room, as well as the personalities through bluffs and forced plays. When you think of an anime covering the genre gambling, it sounds interesting, but hard to imagine. Like, how could it be so good? I mean, at the end of the day, gambling is more of a personal event enjoyed by the player, not the viewers, or at least so I believed. But I was wrong. Kakegurui has a way of disguising the story and gambling as a form of fighting, where to move on to the next stage or boss, you must first defeat the one in front of you with gambling to the death. Metaphorically speaking, not a spoiler. Oh crap, wait, is saying not a spoiler technically a spoiler? Cause, never mind. The main story to the plot is perceived in a way that is quite apparent and obvious. You can see how everything will play out, and it's definitely a straightforward simplistic plot at that. But don't get it twisted, just because you know who will win or lose most of the time, or what will happen next, it doesn't matter. You're too caught up in the moment because the curiosity within you beckons to see as to how it plays out. I probably confused some of you, as I'm confused myself, so the best way I can put this is, imagine Death Note, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, I'm sorry, this is the only example I can bring up. You know how the story plays out, and you know the ending, as you're told from the very beginning few episodes, but even knowing how the story plays out doesn't make the show any less interesting. In fact, because we know this, we are now gambling with the directors to see if they can still interest us by telling us the ending. Also because we're curious whether they're gonna break away from this and whether it was just a plot twist to begin with. To look into it deeper, the directors of this show, Hayashi Yuichiro, Yamamoto Sayo, and Ohashi Kazuki have gambled with the viewer themselves, saying, I'll tell you exactly how the story will play out in the first few episodes, but I bet you that you will still be surprised by my power of direction. And I accept your gamble. I accept it completely. Also, I know this is a bit random and doesn't have a good segue, but I absolutely love the attention to detail when it comes to the eyes. They say that when it comes to gambling, the eyes tell you everything you need to know. With this philosophy that I just made up right now here on the spot, it seems to be quite apparent in the show with the number of close-up shots to the eyes where we tend to see a lot of emotions being displayed on screen. Personally, I thought these close-ups were cool, and probably even wallpaper worthy. But it's just something I thought was worth a mention, nothing big to fawn about. Overall, Kakegurui was a fantastic watch. It dealt with a strong notion of desire, as well as tackling the idea of trying to get a message across to the viewer, which was quite hard, but it came across successful, which is definitely controversial but agreeable. The message was that sometimes playing by the book doesn't get you what you want. To be successful in the area you wish to be in, you need to learn how to play your cards right. Wars are not won on the battlefield, but behind closed doors. And this philosophy is something that I truly enjoyed. And I challenge you to watch it yourself for a gamble that you might actually enjoy it too. And if not, you're more than happy to come back and tell me you hated it as usual. That sums up pretty much everything. It's been nice having you around, and peace out.